Hey guys, welcome back to Handmade Home and another episode of Hester's House Updates. I'm in the final steps of my living room makeover, and 2 weeks ago you saw me paint the walls with the Any Sloan wall paints. You might have noticed I left one wall bare. That is because I wanted that wall to have a massive impact when you walk into the room. Photo print wallpaper has been growing in popularity over the last couple of years, and there's some great companies out there that can print whatever you want onto wallpaper. For example, an old family photograph or maybe an old map of the town you live in would look amazing blown up on the wall of your living room. But I want a piece of art in my decor, and there's a great way of getting a masterpiece into your interior. Dutch Art Museum, het Rijksmuseum, has a massive online catalogue of images that you can download, print and use in your home. Always fancied a bit of Van Gogh in your life? Why don't you download one of his self-portraits and use it on your phone cover? Or do you really love Vermeer? Download the Milkmaid and have it printed and hung on your walls. I of course went for super size, and I had an image of Hendrik Voogt's Italian landscape with pine trees printed out by Swedish company Photowall. Photowall is in my opinion the best photo wallpaper company out there at the moment. And besides their own mural and designer wallpaper collection, they can print anything to any size you want. I opted for the premium paper, so it doesn't reflect any of my studio lights, and Photowall flipped the image for me and printed it to the exact size of my wall. Have a look at how I hung the wallpaper to create this amazing wall of art. There are a few things we'll have to do before we can start wallpapering. Make sure the wall is nice and smooth, so fill up any cracks and damages in the wall, and make sure the wall is nice and clean, so just give it a quick brush over so there's no dust on the wall. We also really want to make sure the first panel goes on straight, and with this wallpaper you're going to wallpaper from left to right. So on one panel width, which is 45 cm, of the first left corner, I drew a straight line. And a straight line you do with a measuring tool and with your spirit level. Make sure this line is nice and straight, so the first panel goes on straight and then everything else should hopefully be straight as well. The wallpaper comes with its own wallpaper paste. Follow its instructions to see how to make it. With a roller or a brush, apply the wallpaper paste directly to the wall. I like to work in sections of roughly 50 centimeters. The first one's quite handy because you cut your line there so you know how wide you have to go. And make sure the whole wall is covered in wallpaper paste, because spaces that don't have to glue will create a bubble in the paper. So this is the wallpaper, and mine comes in 9 tiles. It's clearly marked, it says here tile 1 out of 9. So we're going to start with number 1 in the left corner, and we're going to work our way to the right. So we look for the straight line and line the first panel up. Once you're happy you line it up straight, smooth the paper down with your wallpaper brush. It's really important you try not to get any wallpaper paste on the paper, because it will show when it's dry. So if you get a bit of glue on, don't worry, just get a cloth and wipe it away immediately. So now panel 1 is done, it's time for number 2. And for me this is the tricky one because I have the wallpaper behind my radiator. So I got a few little tricks to make it a bit easier. To get the wallpaper paste behind the radiator, I simply sticky taped my brush to a long stick of wood. Be very precise in lining panel 2 up in number 1. You put the panels against each other, there's no overlap. To get the wallpaper smooth behind the radiator, you can use the same trick as how we apply the wallpaper paste behind the radiator. But this time I put a thin little bit of timber on the end of my big stick. So the first 2 panels are on and the artwork is beginning to show. You mainly see the tree now, there's a little bit of blue sky on top. And just a guessing game for you guys, where do you think the seam is? Well, I'll help you out. The seam is just here. You can't really see it, can you? I'm pretty pleased with that. So I'm going to continue with the other 6 panels, and I will see you when I hit the other side. All the panels are on. It looks a little bit like I'm own a little private forest. I'm really loving this. I think it's a really nice way of adding a little bit of art and a bit of interest into your living room. And the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna trim the top and the bottom. Because even though this wallpaper is made to the exact measurements of my wall, houses are never straight, especially if you live in an old house like I do. So we're gonna do just with a ruler and a knife, just trim the top, the bottom and the side to make sure everything is nice and straight. amazing now, and the landscape goes perfect with my botanical themed living room. Would you use an artwork to cover your whole wall? Would you opt for one of your own pictures? Well, if you want to make your own wallpaper, Photowall can even help you edit and Photoshop your image so you can get it just the way you want it. Go to photowall.com for more information, and while you're there, have a look at their Between Walls blog for more wallpaper inspiration. Next week I'm back with a very exciting video, as it will be the first episode of my new series Meet the Maker. And in the first episode I'll be interviewing craft writer Claire Youngs. Please subscribe to my channel not to miss out on any of my videos. See you next week!